Hi guys, welcome back to Next Step Immigration. Did you know there are certain jobs in Canada that don't require a Labour Market Impact Assessment, LMIA? Pay attention and watch the entire video to learn all the important details about LMIA exempt jobs in Canada. What is LMIA? LMIA stands for Labour Market Impact Assessment. It's a form that Canadian firms must get from Employment and Social Development Canada before they may engage an international worker. The LMIA's objective is to evaluate the effects of employing a foreign worker on the Canadian labour market, taking into account elements like pay and working conditions. Employers must show they tried to fill the position with Canadian citizens and permanent residents but were unsuccessful in doing so, in order for Canadian workers to be eligible for an LMIA. The company must further demonstrate that the hiring of a foreign worker won't harm the Canadian labour market. Once the LMIA application is accepted, the company may then make an employment offer to the foreign worker, who may subsequently submit a work visa application. In order to ensure that Canadian citizens and permanent residents have access to employment opportunities, and that the economy benefits from the talents and knowledge of foreign employees, the LMIA is a crucial instrument for controlling the entry of foreign workers into the Canadian labour market. Closed work permits, open work permits, and LMIA exempt work permits are the three different types of work licenses available in Canada. In Canada, closed work permits, which need a favourable LMIA for a particular employment, and for a certain company that is registered on the LMIA, make up the majority of all work permits. A foreign employee is awarded a closed work permit. However, those with open work permits are allowed to work in any capacity for any company, anywhere in Canada. Open work permits don't require an LMIA because they aren't connected to a particular firm or sector. An employment offer is not necessary to apply for an open work visa. Closed LMIA exempt employment licenses fall somewhere in the center. Nonetheless, they do allow foreign workers to work for a specific company in a certain role without requiring an LMIA. A foreign national is permitted to work under closed LMIA exempt work permits for a specific employer and in a certain capacity, but they are exempt from the necessity of a positive LMIA. A closed work permit's eligibility for an LMIA exemption is frequently based on the type of job. The ability of your business to show that you will contribute significantly to Canada's social, cultural, or economic well-being will be advantageous. For example, as a technical worker, performing or visual artist, independently employed engineer, etc., you can be eligible for this exemption. Due to this exemption, foreign workers are now able to work in some occupations in Canada that aren't available to Canadians. Professional athletes and coaches who work with Canadian teams, academics, guest speakers, and students taking part in exchange programs are other categories. Entrepreneurs and independent contractors are also eligible for this exemption. Foreign nationals who want to work for themselves or operate their own business while they are in Canada must demonstrate that doing so will considerably benefit Canadian citizens or permanent residents in order to be granted an LMIA exemption. International companies may temporarily relocate staff to a Canadian office without needing an LMIA. If they have a genuine job offer in a province or territory other than Quebec, qualified French-speaking professionals may not need an LMIA. A number of international free trade agreements, FTAs, feature provisions that make it easier for companies to temporarily employ foreign workers in the countries that have signed them and are exempt from the LMIA requirement. The North American Free Trade Agreement, the Global Agreement on Trade and Services, and the Comprehensive Economic and Trade Agreement are a few examples. LMIA is not required for participation in many international youth exchange programs, which allow young people to travel to and work in Canada. For instance, Canadian young professionals might have a job offer that helps them enhance their careers by giving them overseas experience. Under specific conditions, the Immigration Minister may decide to provide an exception to medical residents, fellows, and people who have received academic honors from Canadian universities. Academic researchers, visiting professors, and guest lecturers are supported by a reputable governmental program. Please be aware that work permits are still required for positions that are not subject to an LMIA. These are only a few instances of Canadian employment that are exempt from LMIA. See the Government of Canada webpage on LMIA exemptions for additional details and a comprehensive list of categories that are exempt from the LMIA. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and enable the notification bell to receive updates on job and immigration news. Thanks for watching. Good luck.